Hello everybody, this is Shannon Belmont. I'm really excited to be teaching Advanced GIS. I love this class. I'm very sad that we've moved to online this semester, but things happen and I'm going to work really hard to make the course as engaging as possible and make sure that you guys are getting the one-on-one contact that you need, even if we have to do it via Zoom calls all semester long. I'm happy to do that. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, that's me. Shannon Belmont. I am ENBS faculty. You don't need to call me Professor or Dr. Belmont. I just love the name Shannon. It's great. I've been teaching at USU since 2010 and am the director of the Utah Geospatial Consortium as well as the director of the 2 GIS certificate programs. So if you have any questions about GIS certificates, let me know. My background, I've got a master's degree in watershed sciences from the University of Minnesota, go Mighty Gophers, and a bachelor's of science in soil hydrology from the University of Washington. And before I got into GIS work, I was a surf artist, and I had lived in Hawaii for about a year, moved back to Minnesota, and decided that I needed more color in my life. So I just started painting surfing. And yeah, supported myself for about 12 years, if you can believe that. How rare. I was pretty lucky, gotta say it. Okay, so let's start with the statement of the painfully obvious. If you've heard anything about this class, you've heard that it's a ton of work, and that's absolutely true. It's actually probably more work than you've heard it is. You will be making a website, and this is content that was taken from a student's website several years ago. They actually put a Surgeon General warning on their website to talk about what a calamity this class is. But I promise you will get a ton out of it. So let's talk about course goals. Number one, we're going to push you to develop really independent and resourceful GIS skills. I want you to be super confident when you leave this class that if you break something, you know you can fix it. You really can't mess anything up unless you completely blow your data, but then just go re-download it. You can always fix it. So that has to do with being resourceful, knowing how to figure out what errors mean, and having the confidence in the data and understanding data and coordinate systems to know how to fix things. And then developing awesome habits, evaluating your work, evaluating the data before it goes in, and evaluating your results when they come out, and constantly scrutinizing and being skeptical about all the uncertainty that's buried in spatial data. And then I want to teach you techniques that are going to set you apart from the rest of the world that's learning GIS and is going to be competing for the same jobs. So some of that's going to be cartographic, and we'll just go from there. So how's it going to work? Like I said, the entire course is online. You'll be given weekly to-do lists, and just like every other class I teach, you'll have a GIS exercise every week that's due. And like I said, you'll be creating a website and posting your results to a website. The final weeks are for an individual project. We used to teach this as a separate course, but I've decided to incorporate everything into a 15-week semester because it was really complicated, and the individual course was so popular that everybody was doing it anyway. So I will be simplifying the curriculum a little bit as we go through because it's a 3-credit 15-week class now. So we'll be doing that. For those of you doing the GIS certificate, know that you are required to get a passing grade in the course and on the individual project. So you can't roll an A all semester and then not do the final project and come out with a passing grade for the class. You will be required to get a passing grade for the individual project because it's kind of a capstone. So if you have any questions about that, definitely let me know. During the first 10 weeks, when we're going to be doing regular GIS exercises, you will be preparing for the individual project because we only have 4 to 5 weeks at the end. We need to hit the ground running on analysis when those weeks start. So we will be working on project proposals and data acquisition concurrently as we move through the first 10 weeks. And I'll give you some guidance on that. Okay, so yeah, in week 12, you need to be ready to begin analysis if you haven't already, over the course of this semester. So I would recommend start thinking about that individual project right now. Sometimes I go and kind of cull projects from faculty in natural resources, and I may do that again next year, but I'm going to challenge you to go find data that inspires you. Find faculty that are working on interesting topics and talk to them. See if they have a project or would be willing to mentor you on a project. Start thinking about that final project right now. Okay, the software that we need for the class. We will be using ArcGIS Pro for the lab assignments for the most part. To get access to ArcGIS Pro, if you're going to work on your own computer or work at home, you need to join USU's ArcGIS online group. And I've got instructions for all of this on Canvas, but I'm just letting you know that this isn't a classic email me for a license and install. You have to jump through several hoops. I've provided authorization codes. There's a link on Canvas to a Google Sheet. You can find an individual authorization code there, but you do have to fill out this Google form to join USU's ArcGIS online group. Remember that ArcPro is not Mac compatible, so you do have access to the computer labs on campus. The best option for you is going to be Quinney 306, QLib 306, up on the third floor of the Quinney Library. It's open 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 Monday through Friday. Life Science Building 225 will be available to you Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. And I've got these hours on Canvas as well. Engineering, third floor, Open Access PC Lab has computers, and their hours are great, but they're not always running the same versions of Pro that we are. And I don't know if they'll have Zoom there. So I would recommend first using the Quinney Library computers. Okay, lab submissions. Like I said, building a website, I've got a couple of requirements there. I want you to submit the URL. That's what you're going to be submitting each week, is a URL to your website. But you're going to be creating independent pages on a website. So a separate page for each assignment. And I want you to submit the URL to the assignment page, not the home page. And then just to get into the idea of my resistance is probably too soft and hatred is too strong a word. But late labs, let's talk about that really quick. I need to manage my time really carefully, and submitting late work puts me in a situation where I have to kind of get into an old mindset, and it's super inefficient. So that's one reason for you guys to get your labs in on time. For you, the snowball is going to increase to avalanche. The work is going to snowball and then become an avalanche if you fall behind. The work is relentless, it's heavy, and the labs build on each other as usual. So you can't afford to get behind. I don't want to see people failing or getting incompletes because they just start falling behind and submitting late work. So I do penalize for late work more heavily in this class because everyone's posting their results to a web page that anyone can find. So you do have an added benefit of having more time and being able to look at other people's results, which is going to make your job easier. So communicate with me is the moral of the story. If something's going on in your life, if you need to quarantine or isolate, contact me. We're able to give you guys remote access to the life science computers if you need to stay home and don't have a way to work at home. So just stay in touch with me and everything should be fine. But get your work in on time. So my second comment here about submitting a URL to a finished web page. Canvas takes an image of the page when you submit the URL, and I don't want you guys submitting blank web pages just to get your URL submitted on time so you don't get docked late points. That's silly. Be professional. Take the heat. If you don't have the work done, submit finished web pages, I guess is my point. Okay. The last bit of important business that we need to cover is this one. I'm here to evaluate your learning and your understanding of GIS, and that should go without saying. I'm not here to evaluate how well you can search the web and copy paste. So I have a standing policy to report any plagiarism infractions, no matter how small, no matter what, to the University Office of Student Conduct. Why? Because your intent is none of my business, right? I'm an instructor, not a judge or a mind reader. So if you submit work duplicating or paraphrasing someone else, my base rule is to report it. USU has a 3-strike policy. So if you blew it and didn't understand, the meaning of plagiarism, and it's the first time anything like this has ever happened, it's no big deal. It's 1 strike, it doesn't go on your record, it's just logged. If you've had that issue before, it could be a 2nd or 3rd strike, but that's why we report it. 1 strike is going to give you the ability to understand and learn what plagiarism is and what that means. So why do I make such a big deal about this? Because this course has been posting results and assignments to Google Sites for years. If you can find old assignments, that's awesome. It's a great resource for you. You can kind of, evaluate how things are supposed to go. But do not take images or text from anyone else's website and post it on your own, even as a paraphrase. It's really easy to catch, and I'll be super mad. So don't put things in quotes and cite the source. That's also not good enough. I'm here to evaluate your ability to understand this stuff, and I want to hear it in your own words, even if the words are clunky and awkward. Practice articulating these concepts of GIS. It's going to be worth it in the long run, okay? All right, off my soapbox here. No textbook required, yay, but awesome supplemental resources. GIS for Fundamentals, I think we're on the 6th edition at this point. Paul Bolstad is this awesome instructor from Minnesota. He's got a digital version available for like $20 or something like that. It's not ArcGIS based, which is the other nice thing about it. It's just kind of overall geospatial theory, really, really well written. This one is the opposite. Maribeth Price is from South Dakota. She wrote more of a recipe cookie cutter book that walks you through, kind of like my instructions do, step by step, how to do a whole bunch of things. This is really well done as well. It's more expensive. It's like $60, but it comes with a DVD filled with data that you can use, and it's really well done, but very different. Okay. Anything else? Any questions? Let me know. And thank you for listening.